it is. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to, some of you, to the town of Swampside. Lawrence, you have traveled you landed near the coast of Biltuber or something like that. You know the name of it.
Yeah.
And have traveled a couple days inland and have just reached with your companion, whose name is Vincent.
Yeah.
So Vincent has traveled with you, and you both have reached this town. Last night you did meet up with the person who you have is hoping to guide you into the swamp. And this morning, you all wake up on this wooden floor. Everything is damp. The air is damp. The wood is damp. Your clothes are damp, and just the whole air is humid. So I'm going to say, let's see quickly here. Dirk. Sorry, something downstairs. Okay, so Dirk, you awaken first to see your companion sleeping there, and shortly thereafter, Vincent awakes. So if you two would like to describe your characters and introduce yourselves.
Do we flip a coin?
Vincent, go ahead and describe what Dirk sees when you wake up this morning.
So what you will see atop my approximately 6'4", 6'5", perfect height, is some lovely long black locks of hair that almost seem to look like there's a constant breeze blowing through them. I've got a wonderful deep royal purple vest covered with a very long black coat that almost looks like it has spiderweb looking material almost on top of it. Black pants. I've got some very nice shoes with some very interesting looking metal buckles on them. And I am already upset at how hot and sticky it is in this room.
All right, so you come awake. Your hair has not behaved since you have landed on this coast. It's completely frustrating you, and you look up and see your guide that you met the night before. Dirk, go ahead and describe yourself.
So Dirk is a 4'9" and 3.99 quarters of an inch dragonborn, black dragonborn. Basically has dreadlocks for hair coming back, and it kind of drapes down over his shoulders. One horn is cut off and definitely shorter, although it looks like he's been trying to sharpen it. And he basically looks very plain. He wears leather armor, a cloak. He has basically all the gear that he would need to scout and a bunch of weapons. But he doesn't look like he takes any kind of luxury whatsoever. Everything's practical, and not dirty, but it looks like he's had it for a season. Like he only got it maybe like a year or two ago, like a new set, but it's still pretty worn, all things considered. And he's kind of looking you up and down. And he just doesn't like looking at you. Like looks more at your shoulders because he doesn't like doing this. He's more like that.
Oh,
rise and shine, sweetheart.
I should have mentioned too, I've got like pale gray skin, clean shaven, and I've got two fairly large incisors. Just be like, good morning. Happy to be here. Am I alive? Does it stay this hot and wet all day?
It's the best weather.
Indeed.
Keeps the predators off you.
Mm.
It's uncomfortable for you. It's uncomfortable for them. It's good for us.
It's definitely uncomfortable for me.
Lawrence, you wake up to this conversation happening next to you. And what do they see as you're waking up on this floor?
He's an old man.
As you see him sort of stumble awake at the sound of people talking, you just see him sort of like push his hair back, which is long, which he quickly puts into a dark ponytail that goes to about his mid-neck. You see a fairly pale-skinned individual with a very sharp chin, clean-shaven completely. As well, you see these, compared to most of his looks, his pale looks and his dark hair, he has these very bright emerald eyes. He stands about 5'10". He, instead of wearing anything too fancy, he has on a very dark black raincoat, essentially. And the only thing you see that shows any form of sophistication or nobility is this purpled ascot that sort of pushes out from his loose white blouse. He just sort of stumbles himself awake, and he's like, "Well, I'm glad everyone is, excited for the day. It sounds like that is a hard floor. God.
Nice and moist, too.
Oh, very.
All right, can we both stop using
his
words
fingers
like hard and moist first thing in the morning? Ugh.
When you mention how moist everything is, he's like, "You're right." And he'll snap his fingers. I'll use prestidigitation to dry my clothes and clean them.
What a waste.
Best spell. Right. So as you come out of the room, there is the kind of really old kind of. You can really picture this person living in this town forever, almost like they've just become one with the moisture. So you have there another dragonborn who is also fairly short. And is kind of sitting behind the counter as you are coming awake. It seems like they are also coming awake. Morning.
Good morning.
I'm not going to tell anyone it's a good morning when it's clearly not, but I will say morning and acknowledge that it is early.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I don't understand why you all think it's a good idea to head into that swamp, but if you are trying to get out there, I'd recommend you get started, because when the sun goes down, it's really hard to, get anywhere in there. So.
Thank you for that advice. Dirk, do we need to get going then very quickly? There was one more quick stop I needed to make before we headed out.
Yeah, gotta make it quick, though.
Of course. Excuse me. Is there a herbalist or anybody who deals with herbs and natural plants and such around here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, but rumors I've heard is best ones you're going to find is where you're heading.
Right. I just, I didn't know the individuals we were, interacting with, and I thought it nice to bring a gift or object of some sort to show appreciation for their help and such.
Well, I mean, you can ask around down at the market. I think there's every once in a while there's a little bird that comes through who I think is connected to them somehow. So maybe you could ask, see if anybody knows what they usually buy or something. Maybe that could be something that they like. Or
a bird?
I don't know.
Is it like a raven, a cardinal?
Oh no, it's like a person, but it's a bird. It's like more it's like raven, but like a little shorter than me.
Right.
Comes in, gets groceries, disappears.
Right. Of course. Thank you. Vincent, is there anything you need before we go?
Well, I'm not going to get a fresh change of clothes and a bath, and I'm not
around
even
here,
going to bother listing all the other things that I'm not going to get. Yes, we can leave whenever you want. Let's do it. We came here for a reason. Let's hop to it.
Thank you. Dick,
Got bug salve. Gets real nasty in the swamp.
Right.
I have some extras if you need it.
That would be appreciated.
I have. Oh well, no. All I can do is detect poison and disease. I'm probably detecting it all over.
Do you cast it?
No, I'm just guessing from the look and the smell of my surroundings. Fine, I will take an bug salve to go.
I'll also take one.
Hands out like these little jars, and inside it just smells so bad. It's just disgusting.
If there was something that could smell worse than the path you took to get here, it's this bug salve.
I can smell its effectiveness. Thank you, Dick. Do we just, I see. Cheers.
Look, if y'all aren't paying for a drink or another night's stay, do you mind?
Oh, right. That way to the area with the bird.
You can't miss it.
Okay, thank you. No.
So you head out, and as you step into the town, there's a few people stirring. It's kind of the beginning of the day, but nobody seems to have energy. Everyone's just kind of going about this is the day that they've had for the last, 17 years, and they'll have this day again tomorrow. But as you step out, you can clearly see it's kind of a one-street town. So you do see it opens up a little bit further down. There's a couple carts. Apparently, that's the marketplace. There's really only 4 carts there. But you can go ahead down and ask around if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll start asking anybody if anybody sell herbs or about a little bird, apparently.
Yep. So you go up to the first cart, and they seem to be selling fish, as well as variations of there's frogs and like lizards hanging and all sorts of miscellaneous things there. And you can go up and you see behind that cart, sitting on a tall stool, is a very thin human. Also looks fairly pale, thick hat just kind of flopping down over their face, kind of sitting with their head down a little bit.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. What can I do you for?
I was looking to see if there was anybody who sold herbs or the like in this area.
Well, I mean,
or if you knew of a little bird person who came here on behalf of some women in the swamp.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you couldn't understand my associate. He's looking for herbs or an herbalist.
Vincent, it's just... thank you.
Well, we don't really have an herbalist in this town, but we do have some things for cooking, for example. And he motions to the next cart over, and you see a very tall, large human with a similarly floppy hat, but the floppy hat is pulled back, open face, and you do see tied up a variety of just cooking things, not necessarily medicinal or that sort of thing, but you recognize them as cooking materials.
Okay. I'll look at him and I'll look over Dirk. Dirk, in this area, what's considered a delicacy or expensive treat?
I don't know about expensive, but if you're trying to get gifts for the swamp goddess, is Frog legs goes a long way. They love that stuff. It's great. And also complement their divine smooth skin legs. It's great.
Right. Sir, could I have some frog legs enough for 2 individuals?
Yeah. What kind of individuals? Like, because, one person eats like one and done, and, another person eats like 15.
Let's say that they are hungry and big eaters.
I'm gonna do about like, you want just the legs or the whole frogs?
Dirk, is it whole frog legs? Which is better?
Yeah, I'd say bone in, everything. All in or none.
Yes, the whole frog. If you please.
All right then. Well, if we're talking about the whole frog here, then I suppose we could probably do about, let's see, for 2 people. If we're gonna go kind of in the middle, we can do 6, and then kind of divide up the whole however they want.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, thank you. How much?
All right. Yeah, that would be for 6. That would be about 6 silver, please.
I'll go ahead and give him. I'll give him exactly 6 silver. No.
How big is this hat?
It is not enormous,
Okay.
but it's probably about to here. But in floppiness, it's hard to do with kit. But in floppiness, it basically creates this conical shape that you don't really see much of the person.
I say, that's a decent hat.
Yeah.
Is there a place or someone I could get a large, wide-brimmed hat from? Like,
Well, I mean, most folks around here, they either make them themselves or I guess you could have one imported, but
who could
ask around.
Who's a decent hat maker?
Well, you could ask, points kind of catty corner across to the third stall, is somebody who has a mixture of, looks like maybe rugs and those sorts of things. And that person over there seems to maybe have something more of that sort of build.
I'm just going to say, Toodles, be right back. And
Vincent, we don't have time for...
Float on over to the hat vendor.
Yes, how may I help you? And in front of you is probably the first lizard person that you've ever seen. They are scaly from head to toe, somewhat like your dragon friend, but more lithe. And their eyes do blink, but they're not necessarily in sequence with each other. Yes, how may I help you?
So, say I was to never want to really be out in the sun all that much. You have a very large hat.
Well, I mean, there's not much sun around right now.
Right.
And it is very foggy. So you can kind of see these carts in part of the street, but there's not really much else to see. But if you're in the looking for a hat or hats, I do happen to have a few under my cart here. Just a few extra if you're looking for that.
Yeah. I'm looking for something almost comically large, but still functional.
And they do kind of disappear under the cart very briefly, and then come back up with, it's not quite sombrero sized, but it is fairly large. And it looks to be, it's not the greatest craftsmanship. It's kind of slapped together. It looks like they might make these during the day when they're bored and have nothing else to do. And so it's fairly loosely woven, like out of reeds and those sorts of things. But it's functional. So they pull it out and plop it down. I think this might be sort of what you're looking for.
Yeah, just a big hat. Basic, big, large. That'll be perfect. What do I owe you?
And the character looks you up and down and looks at the group who are here. That would be 2 gold pieces.
Oh, so you see, I thought that we were bargaining under the assumption that we were both intelligent. See, I know that this isn't worth 2 gold, but I can give you, let's say, 5 silver for it.
Ooh, that's a hard bargain. 8 silver.
All right, well, I suppose I'm just going to have to let my beautiful hair get burnt out in this sun, this horrible, wretched sun that's everywhere right now, just outside of this fog. So, good day to you.
Oh, I suppose 5 silver would be okay.
All right, thank you very much. Pleasure doing business. 5 silver.
For the hat.
Oh my gosh. And I
As
pop a
soon
big
as he's
hat
done
on.
and walks away, as soon as before he starts walking away, I lean over the dark. How much are those hats actually worth?
It's like 2 copper.
Base should be basically free, but 2 copper.
And I walk around going, ha! Intelligence prevails again.
Vincent, your frugal and charismatic personality helps you once more.
Indeed. Look how wide this brimmed hat is. Widest
Almost
in
as
town.
big as your ego. Dirk, into the swamp, shall we?
They didn't
Let's
have
go.
them that size.
Obviously not.
All right. So as you do make your way down the street, the uneven cobblestones give way to more slush and mud, similar to what you were traveling with yesterday. And so as you're going along, you do travel, and as you're going, that fog cloud is really becoming very prevalent. In the city, you could kind of see, because there were buildings and markings and things that you moved around, and you're like, oh, I'm in a space. But as you start moving, it becomes very clear that your sense of direction is not going to be very helpful, because the only thing that is guiding you is the muddy path in front of you. Everything else is that thick morning fog. It's got a little bit of a greenish tint to it. The sun hasn't quite risen yet. You can tell that because it's still fairly dark out. But even if it does come up, you're not sure how much that's going to really affect the situation.
Yeah.
But as you're walking along, you do come to the fog in front of you darkens, and then as you arrive, you see this gnarled tree dripping with moss on one side, kind of leaning over, and the side of the road kind of dips down into water. And then you see another tree, and then another and another, and then you start to get this feeling of being closed in, that the air starts to get tight. And I would like somebody in the group to please make a survival check for me.
I don't know if I'm good at that.
Oh,
She just said Dada. Tomorrow,
Okay.
Mom.
That's so exciting.
She's never said that before.
23.
Yeah, I'll let him do that. That's fine.
Sounds like a good guide. I shall follow him through any swamp.
All right. So as you, Vincent, you are feeling fabulous in your new hat.
Of course.
And you are confident in this road in front of you as you squish through in your boots. And you feel a tug as someone grabs your belt. And you look down and you realize that the spot in front of you was about to go directly into swamp, and you thought that was the path. And Dirk kind of grabs you by the belt and redirects you. And you kind of fall in step, heading a slightly different direction into the swamp.
He just pulled a look at Vincent. Vincent, guides only work if you follow them.
And we pull back from your group into the mist, and we travel over the tops of trees poking through the mist. The mist changes in various colors. There's different sounds that come from different parts of the swamp. And as we come down to the mist kind of clears away, and there's this opening in the swamp. And we come down and we visit into a little cottage that is perched on the swamp. As you guys struggle through on the other end, we hop into this area and we come in side window. And ladies, what do we see as we pull into this little cottage in the middle of the swamp?
So
The sun.
I don't know why, but I imagine you two both on a little rocking chair on the little porch.
I mean, that's probably you're probably right. There is like one of those extra wide rocking chairs, like you see outside a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's the big ones, and it rocks really well. Like it's a good chair, because this is where my character probably spends most of her time. She is. You don't quite know how tall she is, because she's rocking on the chair. Like, it's hard to judge that. But you see this this big, like, poofy, like, hoop skirt with ruffles on it. It's not like the best condition. It's not like solid white or anything like that. It's actually probably like maybe like kind of mucky, but it's like the bottoms of it are mucky, to be expected. But my character is probably just sitting there rocking. She has a small-ish kind of hat that's off to the side like this, and she has little white gloves that are lacy, except like one finger. There's a hole in one finger, and it's not really mendable, but it's there. And it's one of those. She also has one of those fans, those fold-out fans. They're like plastic, so they don't get stuck on them, but they just do it really, really quickly. And she has one of those, and she's just kind of sitting there, just fanning herself.
Now remember, if they don't look appealing to you, it's probably because they don't like you and they shift you.
Now, you guys are struggling through the forest somewhere. We've gone to catch them in their morning.
This is our time now.
So as you're sitting out there, the warmth of the sun is starting to come through. You do have a bit of clearance in your area. The fog doesn't roll in as heavily. And Zazimir, you're inside, and the typical flurry of insects comes buzzing up to the kitchen window. And they're very emphatically communicating things to you, and fuzzing and buzzing and all of that sort of thing.
To me or to her?
Huh?
Is it to her? Is it to you or is it to
Yes,
me?
to Zazimir in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. They come by the window. Just sort of, this little old lady, she's like, y'all, she's like ancient. She's like old. She's all hunched over. She's got this big, gnarly cane. She's sort of a dark olive drab color. She's still big, but she's really old. And she's got these sort of tusks that are weird, and one of them sort of missing one side. She just kind of shakes her head and readjusts the patch on her face and goes out with the teapot off the counter or off the stove. Stove? In front of the fire? Probably in front of the fire. Whatever. Take it out. Backs outside.
It's
Comes
one of
out.
them wood-fired stoves with the hot plate.
Bugs are wrong. Pours tea. goes and sits down on the other side of the table.
What's the news, honey?
Bugs are wrong.
What do you mean the bugs are wrong?
Bugs are wrong.
I never asked you if they were right. I just asked you what the news was.
Bugs say there's someone coming. Bugs are wrong. No one coming. Clear skies.
Well, if they say someone might be coming, we gotta get the guest room ready. Echo!
And Zasmir, you remember that you have sent Echo for groceries this morning, and Echo is not here.
Go! Honey, can you get the guest room ready? Forecast says there's company coming. Echo! And normally she answers.
And we will leave you sitting on your front porch and go back up through the clearing. And we join the group of gentlemen in the middle of the swamp. The sun has risen, which has added to the ambient light a little bit, but has not helped visibility whatsoever. And just the heat has kicked in. So where everything was cold and moist when you woke up this morning, now everything is just hot and wet as you're trudging through with the stench of your bug repellent and the mud and decaying stuff in the swamp. I would like someone to make another survival check for me.
Really don't know if you guys want me doing this.
Can it be the same one?
Can we just have Dirk do it?
Yeah, probably.
It's up to you.
I'll have Dirk do it. I trust him. Mostly because I don't trust Vincent.
That'll be a 16.
16?
Should we have helped in that role? Possibly.
Up to you.
I don't think we would have been helped.
I don't think you're a help.
I'd like to try to help.
You're a hindrance.
All right, go ahead and give a roll.
I stand up and I look around with my 6 and I go, well, I'd like to help, but I really should leave it up to someone with more experience. That is what I have contributed, is knowing when to give up control of the party.
Thank you, Vincent.
That's what you learn when you've been at school as long as I have.
Thank you, Vincent. Dirk, please.
100th year senior.
Yes, I'm a full year ahead of him.
No.
A full year.
100 years ahead of him.
Dirk goes ahead and scouts out and looks about the surroundings. And he
He's a level 7. He's a magic user level 6.
Go ahead and make a perception check. And could one of the other two gentlemen please roll a d6 for me?
You want me to do it? Here, I can take it while you.
Mine's glittery. What's yours like?
okay, I got it. No. What is this?
I got glitter.
Okay, you win.
Whoa.
There we go. With the glitter. That's a 4.
4. All right.
14. Oh my goodness.
44 damage. Instant.
14 perception. Alrighty. So as you're going, you're fairly confident you've done this trail before. So you're going along. There's a couple spots where it kind of dips down into the muck, and you got to kind of cross. So be like, hey, the trail continues over there, and you get them over the puddles. You slog through. Some of it's up to your ankles, some of it's up to your knees, which then puts it down into your boots, which means you're now walking with it sludging in your. Like if you had socks, they're just piles of mush now. Your toes. So as you're walking along, Dirk, you catch a little flash of motion across the path ahead of you. What do you do?
Pulls out his hand axe and then looks. Anyone see that?
Did I see anything?
See
Go
what,
ahead,
darling?
make some perception checks.
Okay. All right, die. You're my first roll of the day. Okay.
What
11.
am I supposed to see?
All right. So you also catch a little bit of a flash, but from a different direction. And it's just like a brief sparkle for a moment. Dirk, go ahead and make a nature check.
Nature. 21.
21. You know these little flickers of light. It's reflection off of the bodies of pixies. So you have encountered these before. They tend to appear or disappear, play with travelers. They can be very nasty in large groups, and not fun to tangle with. They're not really dangerous by themselves, but the thing is, it's kind of like ants. If you see one, there's more. So what would you like to do?
Poor people.
Slowly puts his hand axe back, puts it away, kind of puts his hands out. Don't freak out,
Right.
but there are fairies nearby.
Ah,
They're usually harmless. They usually just want to get a good laugh out of you, but they can be malicious and dangerous if you piss them.
right. How would I know the difference between play and trying to kill me?
I don't think they know. So
And soup, you see 3 little lights kind of fading off the side of the path.
Okay.
And
I'll just see the lights going sort of in and out, and I'll cast dancing lights around me and just have sort of the lights sort of spin around and then fade out.
And you can see that the lights seem to be somewhat similar. And another 3 or 4 lights pop up around Vincent's face and circle him.
I think if we play along, it might help us a little.
I think they've chosen me as their god.
And all of the lights poof into your face and disappear.
Hello,
Might
my
be right.
children.
And you hear
I
a
think
little quiet off the side of the path.
So good of you to show yourselves. What a lovely day in the swamp. How am I doing? Good. Great.
And poof, 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 you see 3 more lights appear leading off into the swamp.
Guide, Dirk, is that the direction of our travel? That way.
I don't think so. I don't like to follow the lights.
Ah, okay. So,
They fly, we don't. They can go places we can't. Probably not a good idea.
difficult terrain and that. Yeah.
It's like following a bird around or over a mountain. Just not smart.
I think we've played a little bit enough. Let's continue on our journey then, Dirk. Either way.
Yeah, agreed. So I usually just pretend I don't see them. They just get bored of me, but a little bit more active than normal.
The god is here.
Keep my hat low.
And 3 lights show up right in front of your face, Vincent,
Yeah, bright, aren't they?
and they off in the direction of the previous path.
Maybe you should follow them, Vincent. They seem really to like you.
Well, you see, the thing is that we're going the other way. So, unstoppable force, immovable object. I don't know which one we are in that situation, but we are going to press forward and do what our guide said. Clearly. Not crazy.
Of course. Right. We'll
And
follow.
as you take one step forward, Vincent, you have there is suddenly completely surrounding you this column of fire. And I would like you to please take 1d6 psychic damage. So the other two gentlemen, you saw the lights pop up in front of him and distract the other way. And as soon as he went to take that one step forward, you just see his face go into shock. And he kind of like freezes in panic.
Is everything all right?
And another 1d6 psychic damage.
And I jump out. Oh, that one's a bit worse. That's 4. First one's only 2. I start running, and I'm running. Ah, the fire! It's on, everybody! It will go out! Oh, the fire! Stop, drop, and roll!
And when you leave the space, you do leave that column of fire behind.
Oh.
It's back over. It's over there.
Can we see the column of fire, or is it just he just?
Nope. You just saw him freak out. But it has now vanished. It has now vanished for everyone.
I'm literally in other flames. Terrible. Horrible. Taking at least 6 damage.
You hear little giggles around you.
I think our friends are towing the line right now, Dirk.
It hurts. It hurts for real. Like in my brain. Maybe not so much on my skin, but it hurts.
The swamp's the great equalizer. There are no gods here.
That is comforting to know. Shall we move a little quicker?
No. You all right, Vincent? You want to go home?
Well, no. I want to finish. I mean, clearly I want to go home. I want to do both. Let's just finish so I can go home.
And you push on into the swamp as you continue along. I would like someone to make another survival check for me.
All right.
I will assist. I will assist Dirk.
And someone else roll another d6 for me.
Okay, I'll assist and roll the d6 since you rolled the last one.
14.
3. Now roll the d6. Hold on. A 4 for the d6.
All right.
Go.
No.
So as you come along and are traveling, Lawrence, you are sure that Northwest is that way, and you're supposed to be going that way. And Dirk, he is not correct the path, but he's so insistent. You're not entirely sure. I mean, this guy's never been on this path before. You think it's this way, and as you're squabbling at this turn in the path, you hear this sound, this, and this giant shadow just passes over you.
Hilarious. What in the love of this disgusting swamp was that?
Yes.
The bird? Was that a particularly large fly?
Go ahead and do a nature check.
Yeah. So 19.
19. All right. So there are quite a few large creatures in this swamp. humans are not the largest in this area. There are several large flying things. It could have been any number of very large birds. Dirk, you're familiar with on some of the planes that you've traveled with. There are something that could maybe be cousins to this called rocks that have massive wingspans. There's smaller versions. There's large variants of normal birds. It could be pretty much any number of those things. But of all those things, they're all dangerous.
Flying thing, dangerous. Basically, watch your back, keep your eyes in the sky.
Should we move at a more stealthy pace then, or quicker?
Yeah, I got something up my sleeve. And with that, take them to like the side of the trail and then cast Pass Without a Trace.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So a veil of shadows and silence radiates from you, masking you and your companions from detection for the duration. Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including you, has a 10+ bonus to stealth check and can't be tracked except by magical means.
Nice.
So we leave no tracks or other traces of passage.
All right. Everybody go ahead and roll stealth checks for me.
Will do. Oh, all righty then.
Oh, get it. Hang on.
39.
31.
That's amazing.
Well, that's without my bonus, which it would actually be 46.
Okay, 46, 31.
That's ridiculous.
Did you screw this up for me?
32.
All right.
So when the
last one
creature
out.
and the shadow went over you, it disturbed some of the mist and everything kind of spun together. And then you watch your guide say something and move his hands, and all of that swirling mist seems to come in and cling to you. And it darkens like the shadow of that creature. And you can see each other, but even each other are like, if you look away and look back, it's almost like being lost in that cloud of mist like on the road earlier. So you really need to keep track of each other because you're really, really hidden.
And with
Even
that,
from
he
each
grabs out some of his hemp rope that's on his side and just pulls out just enough to where we're within a couple of feet of each other and hands it along.
Nice.
And he just silently just gives the motion forward. And then he makes the symbol like this. And he does this. And he's just like,
I probably didn't see any of that. Oh, actually, I might have. I do have dark vision.
I mean,
Well,
I think it tells. I don't know.
Yeah, this is magical.
Different,
Yeah.
different stuff.
Yeah. So as you push on, you kind of are slugging along, plodding along. You hear these various swamp noises. You have been traveling for a while, and there's another section of the path where the path kind of goes down into the swamp, and it looks like another 100 yards or so that you're going to have to wade. What would you like to do?
So it just starts getting deep and we have to wade through the water.
Yeah, it's just another section of the path that's covered with water. Everyone go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Well,
Everyone?
Number one.
Oh,
My
no, sorry.
first
Just
stat
the
one is player.
folks in the scene.
16.
So a total of 3 with my natural.
Oh no.
So
Bug in my eye.
So Lawrence, you've been really focusing on following the person in front of you. But
Yes.
your mind does drift every once in a while. I mean, you're holding onto the rope. How lost can you get? And as you're thinking about that shadow and all of the possibilities of what you could do if you could like get that concept of the shadow and the large creature, and like if you could control that, how that would be amazing.
That'd be an
I
interesting.
wonder if there's like another article or like if someone else has done research on that. And then you completely bump into Vincent in front of you, who has come to a stop. And Vincent has come to a stop because Dirk has come to a stop. What was your number, Dirk?
That'd be 12.
12. Okay. So Dirk, you hear something in the water, and at this point you're kind of like halfway across, and you hear something in the water. Vincent, you hate this water with a passion, and you hear something, but you also notice off to the left there's like a little island of moss. That's not moss. Make an investigation check.
That is 20. An unnatural 20.
You see that it is indeed not moss. There is some moss on its back, but sitting over there is you've never actually seen one of these before, but you've heard rumors of these creatures called alligators. And you kind of pictured them to be fairly large, like maybe like a cow or something. This one is far larger than you could have ever imagined. And it's just got its eyes and the tip of its nose and a section of its tail sticking out. And the tail is what's covered with moss, but it's so far away from the head that you get the idea of how massive this creature is. Fortunately, you are still within your hour of Pass Without a Trace, but I'm going to ask for another set of stealth rolls.
All right.
Man.
Not nearly as
I'm rolling okay. On stealth. I am 21. Oh, plus 10. 31.
36.
17.
17. All right.
Not as good this time. I bumped into my friends. Well, associate.
So you come to a stop. You bump into Vincent as the ripples go out. And Vincent, you kind of like make everybody stop and you point for Dirk to see the creature. And everyone, you all now see this massive creature. And just the nostrils flaring. And it puts out its own ripple as you very carefully start moving past. As it adjusts and all of these ripples come past you, you freeze for a second. And it kind of settles back in. And you tiptoe out the other side and continue on your way. So you travel for another 15 minutes or so.
The alligator.
As we get out of earshot, and I go, and that, chaps, is why I'm here.
Vincent, I appreciate your undead vision.
Always need a slow one so you can outrun him, I guess. He just keeps going.
So as you're going, it's now it's past midday. The heat has been unbearable. Everything's sticky now. And as you're walking along, every once in a while you have to like stop and empty the water out of your boots. There's these gnarled trees, that closeness of the air, and I would like everyone to roll one more perception check for me, please.
All right, there we go. There.
Ballin' today.
Perception.
12.
For now.
An 8.
22.
I like this guide. It's a good guide.
Okay, sorry, what was it?
I did 22.
Yeah, 8.
2,
12.
12. Okay. So Dirk, you pull everyone to a stop again. And you hear kind of behind you off to the distance, there's like a everyone stands still.
Can we hear it? Did I hear it or did he hear it?
It was only Dirk.
I just our guide stop and just look
Do
around.
I know what that sound would be from?
Roll an investigation check for me.
Investigation. Wow. So it's 13.
13. It sounds familiar, but you can't place it. And now that you're all stopped, everyone hears another.
Is this time? Is it coming from behind us again?
It's still coming from behind you.
Can't see anything. So
Like looking up in the trees.
what is that? Is that like something cute, like a monkey, or is it something terrifying, like monkeys that kill people?
Monkeys.
So should I light the trees on fire, or should we just continue along?
Continue along. You hear from behind you. In your voice.
Vince, you don't have to repeat yourself.
Repeat yourself.
I think you should remember who's the guide here.
The guide here.
It's not just me. We're all stupid.
With
All
that,
stupid.
I'll go ahead and cast dancing lights just in a radius around us. The 4 lights, and just have them start spinning, just so I can see if there's anything around.
The light kind of goes out. It's kind of like headlights in the fog, where like as they get further out, they kind of don't help you see better.
Oh, that was useless.
They're out.
I'll go ahead and just grab like a pebble, a rock off the ground, and cast light onto it. So I've got a crazy strong, just single light, and say, "Oh, did we need light? I can also assist if light is needed."
No, I stopped with the light because it wasn't useful. I have 4, you have 1.
And the daylight is like
Sometimes.
high beams in
Less
snow.
is more, as they say. All right, then I'll go ahead and just like toss it as far as I can in a given direction.
Whatever it is, it can copy what we say.
Far off in the distance as it lands.
Can I make another perception check to see if there's anything around?
Yeah, sure. If you can spend your turn to do that.
I shall. Ugh. 5.
Oh, Lord.
More human eyes.
You get distracted once again by the sock that has slid down to your toes, and it's like not even comfortably under your toes anymore. It's just in the way, and you know you're getting blisters.
I cannot see with my feet hurting this much.
And you hear another little silly bird.
All right. Well, shall we do what we did with the fairies? So we just press on, not pay any mind to it. Brilliant.
Yeah, I would like to know what that thing is, but I feel like if it hasn't attacked now, then as long as we don't make ourselves look like prey, we'll be fine.
I think I'll follow Dirk's advice. Just, Keep your eyes out.
If you see something, unless it looks like it's about to like eat you, then don't attack it.
Right. So
Otherwise, you will probably be in a fight.
Where are we? How far away, give or take, are we from this place?
Oh, I mean, it depends on the rainy season. And it's dry. That really affects the pathing you take.
Go
It'd
ahead
be
and
anywhere
roll
between 3 to 8 hours.
one more nature check for me.
Oh, nat 20. So that's a 24.
You know all nature. All of it.
So as you say this, you can see, and the other guys can't tell because this is not their environment. But you can see that a little bit ahead, the fog is starting to get. You can see a little further than you could before, and the ground beneath your feet is starting to firm up a little bit. So as you're saying, oh, it depends on rainy season and all that, you know that you've got about another 45 minutes and you're heading into their territory as the ground is getting more firm and controlled.
Kind of stomps his feet and he kind of gets on his knee and like grabs some of the mud. And it's kind of like sandy. He's like, I think we're about 45 minutes away based on ground texture. Fog.
Good.
Now that you mention it.
Let's press on then and keep our eyes out for mimicking somethings.
Mimicking something. You hear from the other side.
That might be troublesome.
Might be. We're gonna go.
Let's
Goodbye.
keep on trucking along.
Goodbye.
You as well.
My name's Direwood, and I'm an idiot.
My name's Direwood, and I'm an idiot.
I like it. I like
I
it.
like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. And you, with those repetitions, you do actually get a little pinpoint of a direction from the repetitions.
Okay.
It's kind of behind off to your right-ish, a little bit.
I'm not going to make another perception check. I've made my 2 and done terribly both times.
We're almost there.
As you push on, and as you, if you have little chatter and conversations, you do hear every once in a while from the swamp noises around you, this echo of your conversation back to you, and you're all just like, it's a little irritating. But as Vincent found, there are some fun ways to use it against your other friends. There's some arguments that perhaps break out. And as you're walking, you start realizing your feet aren't sinking as far. You aren't having to pull your feet out for each step. And the ground is getting firmer. And you do see further into the trees. And the trees are changing. Instead of being as warped and closed in, they're straightening and opening out. And you start to see a couple, some moss with some flowers, little tiny, little tiny pink flowers in the moss. The pool, there's more of a differentiation between the pools of water and where the land is. And so it's less all swamp and more broken up.
Mm-hmm.
And as the fog slowly clears, you, Lawrence, a honeybee buzzes past your face and buzzes off. And then Vincent to 2 go past you, investigate your clothing and attire, and buzz off.
Much like bees, but then again, I don't much like anything so far in the swamp.
And you do see more flowers along the path. They're still they're swampy looking flowers, but there are more flowers. You start to see clusters of bees investigating all these flowers, going back and forth about their business. And every once in a while, past your face. And
flowers are a nice touch.
And so as you are going forward, I would like Dirk can you please make a dexterity saving throw for me?
Uh-oh.
25 cold damage as a dragon's talon rips through your leg.
Uh-oh. What is my bonus again? Oh, it's save throws. Oh, so that's different. So that's a total of 12.
12. You are caught, and you forgot about this. You are caught at the edge of the clearing, and there is these vines that just leap from the ground and grapple you. And just as you see this, Vincent and Lawrence, I would like you to also make dexterity saving throws, please.
What? Wonderful. That's not wonderful.
7.
7 and
Total of 4 after I rolled my nat 1.
all right. So you two, you don't get grappled in the same way that you saw your guide get grappled. You don't even see these vines snake out and grab your ankles just as you're about to take that step forward, and both of you
Wait, I need to roll again.
into the sand. Go ahead and roll again.
I have advantage against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement.
I would
I
like
have an
both of you. 18. Okay, nice. I would like both of you to take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
And Dirk, you wrestle your way out.
I'll say that. I probably as I saw it coming, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, and you kind of get past, and both of you just face planted into the dirt, and you hear a chuckle from behind you, and 2 guffaws from in front of you.